Well, when you look at here, the angle of this video is different. You can see my blanket. All that really means is that it's starting to get cold. So my blanket is probably going to make more of an appearance than usual. But welcome to this video. First of all, hook 'em. And this video is similar to what I did with Colorado. This is me assessing the recruiting for the Texas Longhorns. And I'm going to be honest and say, at this point, I am focused on this Texas team being built and good enough to beat Georgia, because you know what? That seems to be our weakness right now. And so I wanted to make a video and talk about our recruiting. Obviously, we have the #1 early signing recruiting class. Kudos to us. We have worked a long time to be where we're at today, and I think it's great. I also think it's interesting that when I'm looking at the class and I'm seeing how many people we have and how dynamic this class is, it's just funny to think of where we're at now, because I remember when Texas was struggling. Like, I remember when there were times where we were like, what is this program? Like, who are we? Are we ever going to be good again? Like, this is just not good enough. And so it's nice to be on this side of things. And on this side of things, though, there's expectations, there's understandings that at this point, all it is now is about being better. It is about replacing guys and being better. And so now I feel like we're at a spot where maybe about 10 to 12 guys a year are going to go to the NFL. And so we have to revamp, we have to rebuild, and we have to do things. I feel like last year, I think Texas had like 11, 13, or 12 people get drafted. This year, who knows how many people are going to get drafted. But all that is telling me is we need to continue to replenish talent. So while I'm very happy about this early signing class, it wouldn't be me if I didn't have things that I wanted to talk about in regards to this signing class. So that is what I'm going to do on the other side of this video. So let me be honest here. When I look at this recruiting class, you know what I think? Big, strong, fast, amazing, just amazing. I know exactly what Sark is building. It makes sense. I understand the people that we're getting in. I understand the big splashes. I understand everything that this Texas program is doing right now. What I don't understand is why we can't get a kicker that can kick a freaking field goal, but that's a whole different conversation for a different video. But when I look at this recruiting class, I'm excited. I'm not only excited because we are the #1 recruiting class, I am excited because there's so many athletes that I can see. I am a fan of positionless football, or football where different players can slot in and slot out. I think it makes your team better and it makes your team more dynamic. And I feel like that's what Sark is doing. Sark is like me. I always say, go get the talent. I don't care. Go get talent, go get talent, go get talent. I don't care how much talent you get. Just continue to get talent. You can never have too much talent. And so I feel like in this signing class, Sark went and got the talent. He did everything he was supposed to do. So like I have done in my Colorado video, I am going to talk about people that I think are going to make an impact on this Texas team next year. However, here's where it kind of gets tricky. I would be an idiot if I didn't list all the 5 stars that we got, right? Because I think we got 4 or 5. So I'm not sitting here to say that the 5 stars aren't going to perform. I think the 5 stars are the easier way to do this. I could just list all the 5 stars and say, look, they're 5 stars, like go perform, right? Go do your thing. However, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit to dig a little bit deeper beyond the 5 stars and go find guys that I think are going to make an impact, because one thing Sark has shown us is that he doesn't care how old you are. If you can go on that field, you can execute, and you can be a part of this team and make an impact, we are going to find a way to play you. So looking at this list, I am going to talk about the 3 guys that I am going to be paying attention to this year. I think we all know last year, Colin Simmons and Ryan Wingo were the people that I paid attention to. And isn't it funny that Colin Simmons and Ryan Wingo are playing so well? You know, I always tell people I kind of know what I'm talking about sometimes. But seriously, I'm going to tell you some people that I am going to be paying attention to that are not 5 stars, that I think that are going to make an impact on this Texas team. Because one thing Texas has shown me is that they are able to develop. And if that is true and you're able to develop, these freshmen might get an opportunity based on the positions that they play and based on the needs I think this team has. The one thing I want to say before I get into my list is this. My player that I actually want to talk about is Michael Terry. Like, I like Michael Terry. I like his skill sets. I like his size. I like what he presents. And I like dynamic players. I like big, strong, fast players that can play a multitude of positions, and that Sark gets to kind of figure out where he's going to go so that that will fit the team. However, Michael Terry is a 5-star, so I'm not going to talk about Michael Terry, but I would be an idiot if I didn't throw his name out there. And while I'm saying that, let's be real. All the 5 stars, I'm expecting great things from them because they're 5 stars. That's what they get. But I don't think you win games just based on your 5 stars. I think you have to win games because of your impactful depth. And that is what I'm going to call the next people that I'm going to talk about. Our impactful depth that I am going to be focused on as these kids obviously come into spring ball, get into the weight room and all the things. Like, these are the guys I'm going to be paying attention to as we move forward for my Texas Longhorns. So the first person I'm going to pick is Nick Townsend. He is listed as a tight end, and he is 6'3", 235. The thing I like about Nick Townsend is I don't think he can just play tight end. He has been recruited to do whatever he can do to help the team. I like his size. I like what he's bringing to the table. And the way that we use Gunnar Helm has shown me that Sark uses tight ends. So I like what Nick Townsend brings to the table. The other person I'm going to say is Lance Jackson. Lance Jackson is a defensive lineman, and he is 6'5", 260. 6'5", 260. I like it. I like the size. I like the strength. Like, it looks good. The reason why I like it is because he reminds me a lot of Colin Simmons measurables. And if you go look at Colin Simmons and just see what he's putting out there, I like it. I like what he's doing. The other person I like is Elijah Barnes. He is listed as a linebacker. He's 6'1.5" and 220 pounds. Each of these athletes that I just picked have played A, multiple positions on the football field at a very high level. B, obviously size. Size matters. So I'm going to say size. And the other thing that impacts me, sorry, that threw me way off because I didn't expect to say that. So the third thing I like about this is the fact that each of these athletes were really good in other sports. For example, track and basketball. And I like when I can have an athlete that is good at multiple sports, because it shows me that their ability to think, their ability to work hard, and all of those things, because playing sports is not easy. And so obviously Texas is better at the trenches than Colorado is, but I am still looking for trench guys. I need trench players. I need people that can make a difference on our defensive line. That is the bread and butter in the SEC. When you can find guys up front, or really your front seven, that can make a difference in the game, I'm a fan of that. Sign me up for any of that. Any day of the week, twice on Sundays, I don't care. So sign me up. So these are the guys that I am going to be paying attention to. After Texas wins this national championship, I am going to then transition and look at the spring, and these are the guys I'm going to be paying attention to in the spring. I'm also watching this transfer portal to see what's going on. I believe the number I set for Texas was 10. I believe Texas will probably lose between 10 to 12 people in the transfer portal if I'm assessing this roster correctly. I believe we just brought in 25 freshmen, so losing 10 people, and then we'll probably lose some to the draft. You can kind of see how that's piecing together, and I fully expect Texas to also go get some defensive linemen, maybe an offensive lineman, maybe a linebacker or two out of the transfer portal. So that is where I see this going. I think we're in good shape. I think we have enough talent coming in and coming out. Let's be honest, we have money to spend if we need to spend the money. So I like where we're at. I like where we're at. I like where we're doing. Yes, there's some things that frustrated me after the Georgia game, and there's that, but this is still my team. I'm riding with them. I've gotten over that, kind of, and I'm ready to move forward, and I'm ready to see what this team does in order to win this championship coming up, because we're going to play Georgia a third time, and this time we're going to beat them, but I'm curious to see what happens as we move forward in this college football playoff season. So at the end of the day, I'm looking for the next Anthony Hill Jr. I'm looking for the next Colin Simmons. I'm looking for the next Alfred Collins. You get what I'm saying here? Like, I'm looking for the next greatest thing, and I am going to focus on defense, because I have realized as a Steelers fan, defense matters to me. And if you can't play defense, it actually frustrates me. And so I'm going to lean defense here. I'm going to expect the 5 stars to be 5 stars. I'm going to expect this offense to figure out their crap, even though I don't know why, because right now this offense is a mess. But for the new people coming in, I'm going to focus on defense to make sure that we can continue to rebuild, continue to replenish, because I believe at the end of the day, that defense is what is going to make the difference for this Texas team. At least I hope that that's true. But I am going to end this video here. If you're a Texas fan, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're not a Texas fan, talk trash to me in the comment section below. I don't care. It makes it fun. Don't forget to like this video. Tell me all the things you want me to know, and I will see you in my next video. As always, hook 'em.